Hello and welcome back to my digital artifacts. I'm Hayden, and in this episode, I will talk about how we can work towards a better virtual world for the future. So first, I think we need a change of model, and this is directed towards NFTs. And I think the items that NFTs represents will also need to be traded. And for example, when you buy an NFT, the actual item, say, say goods like uh, purses or handbags, etc., stuff like that, and digital images, etc., will be delivered to the buyer upon the purchase. So, let's say you buy a digital drawing through NFT, and when you buy it, along with the token that represents your proof of ownership, you'll also get an the actual picture attached to that token. So instead of the image links, which is used for NFTs now, which is just a link that goes to a website that hosts the image. And this, I believe, will also eliminate paradoxical NFTs like buying the NFT of someone's tweet. But what I really think is at the heart of making a better future is regulation and moderation. Now, I did mention in the last episode that we need a change in the people system, but I do recognize that it's not that easy, especially in the short term. And this is because education and the change of people's ideology takes a long time, and we will definitely not see short-term results. And the change of system is also difficult. And so this leaves us with regulations with effective enforcement, which will see the best short-term results if enforced properly. Here are some examples of what I was talking about. So, for example, NFT marketplaces can be checked regularly for plagiarized and stolen content, and should these kind of contents exist, they must be taken down swiftly. And there should also be checking for and tackling NFT and cryptocurrency related scams. And for metaverses, and I think they really need strict moderations towards user behaviors and really punish players for discrimination, harassment, etc. And they also they also need to check for and take down offensive content in the form of, say, NFTs. And also, companies must not collect excessive user data and must be held accountable for their responsibilities. For example, protecting the user's safety and the implementing of safety tools in metaverses should not make the provider free of responsibility. But I do realize that there are some complications in regulating Web3 related technology or metaverses. So the first one is who set the rules. Rules should be consistent, and preferably there is a set of rules which all metaverses or NFT trading or cryptocurrency providers would follow. But the difficult part is who is gonna set the rules. If it is done by united organization or just a organization, that's gonna lead to problems like whether we're going back to being centralized, because this organization will get to set the rules to its own will and might have too much power. But if we take it to democracy, which might be Metaverse companies collectively decide the rules, etc., it might be very inefficient, and say there is any problem within the rules or a new set of problems arise where the rules previously did not tackle, it is very inefficient to change the rules through democracy, and it might not be able to catch up with the new arising problems. So the second problem is, who is the enforcer? If it is again a organization of sorts, even if it is a united organization, and it might boil down to the same problem with centralization and the organization getting too much power, and it might also conflict with the different companies' policies, and some people may question that why should I listen to a particular organization in a decentralized world. And if we let companies self-moderate, I'm in doubt of its effectiveness, because companies tend to bring themselves out of trouble instead of holding themselves accountable. So in conclusion, I think that regulating the virtual world is necessary but very complicated, and definitely easier said than done. And how the virtual world will become depends heavily on the people that uses these technologies. But it is plausible to create a likable virtual future if we all work towards it collectively, and there is some regulation and moderation. So this is the end of this episode, and this will also wrap up for my digital artifacts. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much, and goodbye.